I miss your brother's first birthday. I ain't miss yours, though. I ain't miss yours, though, mama. I made it.
That was Big X's final message to his family before everything flipped in the blink of an eye. His voice cracked, the whole room froze, and out of nowhere, the law came smashing down on him harder than anybody expected. BigXthaPlug wasn't dealing with some small-time ticket. He got hit with charges that made the whole situation feel 10 times heavier, especially once the system labeled him as a known gang member. A tag that shuts doors and changes everything instantly. Let's break this down, because the entire rap scene stopped to watch the story unfold. BigXthaPlug, Dallas's next-up powerhouse, got arrested on August 21st, 2025, the exact night he was meant to celebrate the biggest moment of his career. Instead of turning up, instead of taking pictures with fans and enjoying his brother's first birthday celebration, his world got flipped completely upside down. He had 2 album release parties ready to go for his country rap crossover project. I hope you're happy.
Is there anything you want your fans to know on this important day?
Please not block the way.
I hope you're happy out now. I hope you're happy out now.
Anything you want to say with this arrest and regarding your previous one?
I hope you're happy out now.
Please do not
New
block the
country
way.
album out now.
What do you say to the fans that didn't get to catch it last night?
We're gonna run it back. I hope you're happy out now.
Are you going to do anything tonight for your album?
And fans were popping out heavy at Cash Cow nightclub in Deep Ellum. Another event was locked in at Wingstop, and everyone was ready to celebrate a win. But instead of champagne, Big X was stuck taking a mugshot inside Dallas County Jail. That night went from historic to heartbreaking without warning. Everything started around 8:45 p.m. when officers pulled over his Dodge Ram TRX on the 7900 block of Great Trinity Forest Way. All because his truck didn't have a front license plate. One tiny detail turned his whole night into chaos. When police approached him, Big X kept it real and told them straight. There was a gun under his armrest. No lies, no hiding, just honesty. But that honesty didn't save him at all. They charged him with marijuana possession and unlawful firearm possession, and since the system already flagged his name as a suspected gang member, those charges stacked even faster. His bond totaled $5,000, $2,500 per misdemeanor. But even that didn't shake him like people expected. When he walked out the next day around 4 p.m., Big X stepped out calm, collected, head high, moving like someone who refuses to be broken. His lawyer, Valerie Bain, immediately spoke up, telling cameras,
"We're going to wait to see the PC affidavits, but we're going to work vigorously for our client because it just is what it is. It's 2 misdemeanors and people are trying to make an effect."
"We're gonna handle this. Pure confidence, no panic, no fear." She let everyone know these weren't life-ending charges. Just another bump in a road he already survived a lot on. Reporters were shouting questions like, "Is there anything you want your fans to know? And are you still doing anything tonight for your album release?" But Big X's legal team held strong, staying focused while his fans backed him with full loyalty. But here's the part that shocked people. This wasn't even his first run-in with trouble in 2025. Back in February, he caught another case in Arlington after cops pulled him over around midnight for expired tags. Same pattern. Police smelled weed, searched the vehicle, and found under 2 ounces plus a handgun. Another arrest, another booking, and a $500 bail before he walked free on February 27th. But the very next day, February 28th, he posted a clip that hit fans in their chest. Big X holding his daughter tight at her very first birthday party, smiling like the world finally gave him a break. That wasn't rapper energy. That was father energy, pure and raw, and it connected with everyone watching. Cameras caught him glowing, holding his baby girl, looking like he finally felt peace again.
I miss your brother's first birthday. I ain't miss yours, though. I ain't miss yours, though, mama. I made it. I was here. You hear me, mama? Bird. Look. Look at you, daddy. Look at you, daddy. Hey. Happy birthday.
The Shade Room even reposted the moment, pointing out how he made it home just in time for her big day. That clip spoke louder than any interview he ever did, especially because Big X had already opened up about missing moments with his kids due to legal trouble. He once shared how missing his son's first birthday while locked up still haunts him. So when fans saw him present for his daughter's celebration, it felt like a complete turnaround. Like life finally gave him something good back. It showed he wasn't just fixing an image, he was fixing his whole life. But then came the moment that broke hearts and earned even more respect. The promise he made to his son Amar. His boy was diagnosed with autism at 4 years old, and Big X said that changed everything for him. In interviews, he talked about how Amar went from talking clearly to suddenly struggling with speech, and how that pain hit him harder than any charge or case ever could. Big X dedicated himself to learning everything he could. Appointments, specialists, books, whatever it took to show up as a real father. He once said, "They're actually the smartest kids in the world." And you could hear how proud he was when he talked about Amar. In a New York Times interview, he even broke down while revealing the promise he made.
Did it leave? Did it leave? When anybody leave? Yeah. Yeah. You miss your finger? What you miss your finger?
"You'll never not see me a day in your life." Those words weren't just a quote. They held weight. But with shows, tours, and legal trouble stacking up, that promise started slipping, and he admitted the guilt ate him up every night. He said, "Me not being there, it takes a toll on me. I only started doing this for him." That was real emotion, straight from the heart. And he didn't just talk, he put action behind his words. Big X teamed up with the Autism Society of America, filming a PSA where he said autism is a journey that's not easy, but it doesn't have to be a hard one.
Is it almost really interesting having a child with autism? Because it almost seems like it's more of a complex relationship.
So they're actually the smartest kids in the world.
That message touched thousands. He said his favorite thing in the world is simply watching Amar be himself, because that taught him real patience, real love, and how to appreciate the smallest things. Even through the chaos, the streets supported him. When news spread about his August arrest, social media lit up instantly. Some fans showed love. Others argued Texas laws were too harsh, but everybody was talking. And more importantly, everybody was feeling something, because Big X brought emotion out of people without even trying. The internet exploded, and suddenly his story wasn't just headlines. It was a movement of people debating, defending, and trying to understand a man who was fighting battles both in and outside the spotlight. The second the news hit the internet, the comment sections exploded like fireworks. People were typing "Free Big X" everywhere, calling him the realest in the game, while others used the moment to drag the system for targeting another black man with fame. It got messy fast, and that's where you could see people showing the worst parts of themselves online. Posts started rolling in saying things like getting locked up for weed in 2025 is exactly why people need to vote, while others claimed the system loves targeting rappers the moment they bring up guns or weed. The whole conversation moved way past music.
I look at my son in his face, I tell him, your daddy will never do no dirt again. I'd never take nothing from nobody. It's just a city, man. I was out there till I was like 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was in the Grove with my mom till like 9. That's where I seen the worst parts at, you know what I'm saying? My girlfriend at the time, she like, oh, you finna be 18, let's go get your license. Let's go to San Antonio and get your license. I go, boom, to get my license, and the constable come out the back room, tell me I got a warrant for aggravated robbery.
And so the cops show up outside, or she just fills you in and tells you?
Nah, as soon as I do this little thumbprint at the what is it, the DPS?
Sure. Yeah.
And boom.
It turned into a big talk about justice, race, power, and the pressure that comes with fame. But even with all that chaos swirling online, Big X's grind didn't fall off for a second. His highly anticipated album, I Hope You're Happy, still dropped right on August 22nd, 2025, just like planned. The project had wild cross-genre features from Jelly Roll, Luke Combs, Shazi, and other country giants that nobody thought would link with a rapper from Pleasant Grove. The timing was unbelievable. Here's a man dropping an album about happiness and hope while fighting real charges and missing his own release parties. That's the type of irony that cuts deep, and fans felt it immediately. But the thing that hit hardest was how Big X carried himself through all of it. No running, no hiding. Just laser focus on two things: his family and his music. When reporters asked if he planned to reschedule the canceled Wingstop release event, Big X didn't even blink. He just said yes. That single word showed everything. He wasn't about to let legal trouble block him from celebrating with the people who lifted him up in the first place. That's where the growth really shows. From the same man who once admitted he used to rob dealers just to feed his baby boy, to the man proudly holding his daughter right after walking out of jail. That's transformation, not just a comeback. The February Instagram clip wasn't some random cute moment. It was proof that he's choosing his kids every time. No excuses, no shortcuts. That promise he made to his son Amar, "You'll never not see me a day in your life." That's what fuels him now. But the guilt? It still sits on him heavy because he knows how much structure matters for his son. During that emotional New York Times interview, Big X admitted how hard it is to balance superstar life with dad life, especially when your child needs consistency more than anyone else. He said that every time he hits the road, a part of him feels like he's letting his son down, and fans felt that honesty deep. Growing up in Pleasant Grove taught him early how the system works. So when he got arrested again in 2025, he tried moving different. Both times he stayed transparent with police, even told them about the gun himself, trying to play things smart instead of reckless. But no matter how honest he was, the system still labeled him a gang member and treated him like someone who could never change. That right there shows how tough it is to escape your past, even when you're working hard to build a new one. But something powerful came out of all that noise. The fan reaction shifted into something bigger than hashtags. Parents with autistic kids started sharing their own stories. Fans going through similar situations opened up, and people said Big X's honesty about Amar gave them legit strength. They thanked him for speaking up about autism, for showing that being a rapper doesn't stop you from being a dedicated father. Comments poured in from parents saying his vulnerability made them feel less alone. It wasn't just music anymore. Big X was impacting lives, one story at a time. His raw openness crushed stereotypes and proved you can come from the trenches and still grow into a father with real purpose, compassion, and drive. But to understand why Big X's journey hits this deep, you gotta look at where he came from, because his story isn't clean or polished. It's painful, it's rough, and it's real. Big X didn't come from privilege. He clawed his way out of Pleasant Grove, a place known for making kids grow up fast. Survival wasn't some tough guy's slogan for him. It was his daily reality. His real name, Xavier Landon, carries a whole story behind it, because his childhood was filled with moments no kid should ever experience. When he was just 4 or 5 years old, he saw something that sticks with him to this day. His mother firing shots at a man trying to break into their home. Being that young and watching your mom protect the house with her bare hands is something you never forget. Moments like that shape your instincts before you even know what instincts are. He's always talked proudly about his mom being both his best friend and a fighter. Tough, smart, and loving, teaching him loyalty and pain in the same breath. She introduced him to UGK and the Isley Brothers, while his pops, the strict one, put him on Drake and Lil Wayne. So he grew up with both the old school foundation and the new school energy. But music couldn't fix the instability around him. School didn't hold him. Teachers stopped calling home, and the streets started looking like the only plan that made sense. After high school, desperation hit hard, and he started robbing drug dealers just to survive. Something he never hides in interviews. He made it clear he wasn't trying to be reckless or prove anything. He was just trying to stay alive with no options, no backup, and responsibilities way too big for someone so young. But robbing dealers is like walking through fire. Sooner or later, everything blows up. And it did. The law finally closed in, and he caught burglary and aggravated robbery charges, the type that rewrite your whole future. He ended up behind bars during the very years he should have been building his foundation. This wasn't just about prison time. It was about losing moments he could never get back. And that's the part that still follows him everywhere. While he was locked up, Big X missed Amar's first birthday, a moment that cut him in a way nothing else ever had. His little boy was turning 1, taking those first steps into life, and Big X was stuck behind those walls thinking about every choice that led him there. He talked about it in interviews, saying missing that day cracked something inside him. And from that moment on, he swore he'd never let the streets steal another second from his kids. But here's the part most people don't know. Before music, before the cases, before any of this, Big X had a whole different dream locked in. He was attending Crown College up in Minnesota, chasing a real football career like it was his ticket out. For a minute, it looked like he really had something going until one mistake flipped it all upside down. He got expelled for smoking marijuana, and just like that, the dream froze cold. When football vanished, the streets started calling louder than ever, and desperation hit him in a way that keeps you awake at night wondering how tomorrow will even look. Big X never sugarcoats that time. He said after his son was born, survival became his only mission, and that mission didn't come with clean choices. He wasn't trying to excuse anything. He was explaining the reality of a young father with no money, no opportunities, and everything on his shoulders. When life boxes you in like that, the streets start feeling like the only door still open, even if it's the one with the most danger behind it. In a 2023 Spin magazine interview, Big X admitted he turned to robbing felons just to keep his son alive. That's how deep the desperation went. He wasn't proud of it, but he faced it with honesty, saying, "I've done a lot of stuff to people in my past. I pray that God forgives me now, but I did what I had to do to survive." That line shook fans because it wasn't bragging. It was pain. That was real remorse mixed with raw survival instinct, the kind most artists would never dare say out loud. Even after turning his life around, his past still hung over him like a shadow. Big X admitted it himself. "Everybody knows who and where I am. At any moment, anybody can pull up and do whatever." Those words showed the fear that comes with success when your history is tied to the block. He understood visibility means vulnerability, especially when people might still hold old grudges, because success doesn't erase your past. It just makes you easier to spot. And just when it seemed like things might finally calm down, 2022 hit him with another blow. He got arrested again in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for illegal possession of weapons and marijuana, and this time he ended up stuck in solitary confinement. That silence became his wake-up call. Locked away with nothing but his thoughts, Big X started writing like his life depended on it. He poured out pain, regret, and truth, filling pages with everything he carried. That's where the seeds for his breakout album Amar were planted. Those long nights turned into therapy sessions with a pen. Every verse was a confession, turning darkness into something powerful and alive. When he finally came home, those writings became the heart of Amar, the album that debuted at number 4 on Billboard's Heatseekers chart. It wasn't just a project. It was redemption you could hear line by line. But behind all the southern grit and heavy storytelling was something even deeper. Big X grew up without consistent fatherly guidance, and he said that missing piece twisted his direction early on. He watched childhood friends fall into gang life, saw family disappear into the prison system, and lived through the kind of cycle that's almost impossible to escape. That same cycle followed him into adulthood, especially with law enforcement. The gang affiliation label in his police record is something he barely speaks on, but it follows him everywhere he goes. According to Arlington PD reports, Big X is listed as a documented gang member, which means every traffic stop, every search, every moment with an officer is escalated instantly. Even when he's legally carrying, that label flips the whole situation into danger before he even opens his mouth. It's a reminder that no matter how much he grows, the system still sees who he used to be, not who he's working to become. But here's the wild part. The same streets that shook his life are the same ones that built his sound. His southern trap tone, his raw storytelling, that gritty voice, all of it comes straight from real scars. Tracks like Texas and Ham hit so hard because they aren't just songs. They're memories wrapped in rhythm. You can hear the struggle, the hunger, the fear, and the hope in every bar. And maybe that's why fans feel his growth so deeply. Big X doesn't pretend, he's evolving in real time. His past explains why he's locked in on being a father now, using every mistake as a blueprint to show his kids another lane, a safer lane. He's building generational change right in front of the world, step by step. Here's where his growth really shines. He never glorifies the darkness he came from. When he talks about his past, there's no flexing, no tough guy energy, just truth and regret. He owns every decision, knowing those same choices could have taken his freedom or his life. That's the difference between being real and being reckless. Big X uses those painful memories as fuel. Fuel for the music. Fuel for fatherhood. Fuel for staying far from the life that once almost destroyed him. He said it himself. He's not going back to the streets. That same danger that almost swallowed him is now the fire behind his redemption. That transformation didn't come easy. It came through pain, isolation, and fatherhood waking him up to what truly matters. Every time he faces a minor legal issue today, it's not just stress. It's a reminder of how far he's climbed from those days of robbing just to feed himself. That's real growth happening in real time. The deeper you dig into Big X's story, the more you realize his music hits different because it's soaked in lived experience, not imagination. Growing up in Pleasant Grove wasn't just about being broke. It was about surviving a neighborhood where danger was normal, and you had to make decisions most kids should never face. Big X lived that pressure daily, trying to figure out how to survive without losing himself. And that early trauma molded everything, every choice, every lyric, every scar he carries with him now. Imagine being barely 5 years old, watching your mom fire shots at a man breaking into your home. That moment carved itself into Big X's memory forever. That type of fear, that type of chaos becomes part of your bones. And Big X said that was the day he learned the streets never give mercy, only lessons. In one of his Raw Spin magazine interviews, Big X broke down how calculated his early crimes were. He said he purposely targeted drug dealers instead of random people, thinking they wouldn't call the cops since they were already breaking the law. Cold logic built for survival, nothing more. But that came with danger because when you rob hustlers, you're stepping into a deadly circle where revenge comes fast and quiet. Those same people had their own networks, their own weapons, and their own codes, meaning one wrong move could have ended his life long before the music ever started. That stretch between his football dream dying and his music taking off was the darkest chapter he ever lived through. The kind of chapter that could have swallowed him whole. After getting kicked out of Crown College in Minnesota for smoking weed, Big X came home to Dallas broke, ashamed, and with a baby on the way. The dream was gone, but the bills were real. The streets started calling louder than ever, and desperation began controlling every move he made. No job, no degree, no safety net, just instincts and guilt pushing him deeper into a cycle he swore he'd escape. Then came the 2022 arrest, the one that slammed his whole world into a wall. He got thrown in solitary confinement, alone for weeks with nothing but his thoughts and regrets. Sitting there during holidays like Thanksgiving, missing baby Amar's early moments, Big X finally had to face a truth he'd been running from. He wasn't protecting his family anymore. He was losing them. That silence tore him apart, but it also rebuilt him in ways he didn't expect. Isolation became inspiration, and he started writing nonstop, turning regrets into rhymes and pain into poetry. Those songs written in darkness became his lifeline, a bridge between who he was and who he wanted to become. And out of that cold cell came the blueprint for his debut project. Amar, named after his son, became a body of work born from heartbreak and healing. And that album sparked the rise that would change everything for him. It was redemption pressed into sound, marking the moment Big X stepped out of the shadows and into the spotlight with purpose. From then on, every lyric carried truth, every line carried weight, and every beat held a story carved straight from the trenches. By 2019, after his release, Big X was fully locked in on music, grinding with everything he had. But it wasn't until the early 2020s that the world finally caught on to how special he really was. Dallas already knew he had something different. That deep voice, that raw soul. But soon the entire rap scene had to acknowledge it too. His breakout came when he dropped Texas, a track that didn't just pop off, it blew up like a bomb across the South. Every playlist, every car window, every block was blasting that song. It wasn't just a track, it was a statement. Racking up over 200 million streams and climbing all the way to number 65 on the Billboard Hot 100. Officially putting BigXthaPlug on the national radar as a southern trap force. TikTok went insane behind it. Clips, challenges, duets, remixes. The whole app was painted with Texas. People connected with his accent, his growl, that raw delivery that felt too real to be faked. The world heard his scars through the speakers, and that authenticity pulled everybody in. But Texas was just the spark. The fire had already been building. Back in 2020, he dropped his debut mixtape Back from the Dead, a fearless project showing he wasn't just another guy rapping about the streets. Tracks like Red Bottoms and Moolah hit hard with sharp street storytelling blended into hooks that stuck to your brain. The whole tape felt like Big X reclaiming his life, turning solitary confinement into strength and resilience. Music built from pain, purpose, and raw honesty. Then came the real game changer, 2023's debut album Amar, named after his autistic son, a project that shifted everything. This wasn't just an album, it was a father speaking to his child through music, showing him that pain can turn into purpose and growth. Every track balanced southern trap energy with real emotion, reflecting survival, fatherhood, and redemption all at once. And people noticed. It debuted at number 4 on Billboard's Heatseekers albums chart, proving Big X had evolved into a true artist with commercial power. Once Amar dropped, the doors opened wide. Suddenly he was getting calls from heavy hitters, Offset, NLE Choppa, and more. His Dallas sound was spreading far beyond Texas, and these features weren't just cameos. They were cosigns from the industry's elite saying Big X was the real deal. Every verse he delivered showed more growth, more hunger, more maturity. Big X wasn't chasing quick fame. He was building something with longevity, something that would outlast the chaos he came from. Then October 2024 arrived, and everything leveled up when he released Take Care. That project hit like a storm, debuting at number 8 on the Billboard 200 with 25,000 album equivalent units in the first week. Numbers that put him in the same conversation as established rap stars. Songs like which also peaked at number 65 on the Hot 100 and Therapy Session became instant fan favorites, blending street pressure with emotional depth in a way only Big X could deliver. When it came to touring, Big X proved he could command a stage like a veteran. His Take Care tour packed venues across the country, with fans screaming every lyric until the lights shut off. One of the biggest nights came in Seattle, where he sold out NUO, performing hits like 2 Nas AM and Therapy Session with full force. The energy was unmatched. You could feel the love shaking the walls. Opening Axe Road, Dollar Ama, and Young Hood did their thing. But once Big X stepped out, the whole venue turned into a wildfire. But December 8th, 2024 wasn't just remembered for the music. It turned into pure chaos. Mid-performance, a fan started heckling him from the front row, yelling wild stuff and throwing water toward the stage. Big X wasn't having that. He jumped off the stage with his crew, ready to handle the situation face to face. Cameras caught everything, fists flying, chaos breaking loose, the heckler ending up bloodied on the ground. Security rushed in fast, and even though it got physical, no arrests were made. The footage went viral instantly. Some fans said Big X was defending his respect, while others said he needed to move smarter now that he was a star. But one thing was clear. Beneath all the fame, Big X was still that same kid from Pleasant Grove. Real, raw, and unfiltered. But what came next showed his real growth. After the chaos, Big X got right back on stage and finished the show like a true professional. No ego, no meltdown, just pure focus. That moment showed the world he wasn't just a street artist anymore. He was a businessman, a performer, and a leader who could handle pressure and still deliver. And the recognition came quick. In 2025, XXL magazine named Big X their best new artist, a massive stamp from one of hip-hop's most respected platforms. That XXL title wasn't just about numbers or streams. It was about influence, impact, and raw artistry the industry couldn't ignore. It marked Big X as someone the culture had to respect, not just listen to. And right after that win came one of his smartest power moves ever. Big X signed with United Masters, with Virgin Music handling distribution. A setup that blessed him with something most artists only dream of: creative control. That independence let him keep his sound 100% authentic. No label politics, no forced image, no watered-down message. He was calling every shot like a boss. That freedom became even more valuable as his fan base exploded from local Dallas love to national and even global numbers. And the festival circuit became another place where Big X showed he wasn't slowing down. He was leveling up. His Bonnaroo 2024 performance introduced him to a whole new crowd. People who didn't even listen to hip-hop but couldn't resist his energy. His voice, and the way he told his story with every line. He crossed into new lanes without losing the ones that built him. And by the time Duskies and CodaFest 2025 rolled around, it was clear the demand for Big X was only getting stronger. But his boldest move came in August 2025 when he dropped his country rap crossover album, I Hope You're Happy. Something only a fearless artist would try. And this wasn't some gimmick. Big X went all in, working with heavy hitters like Jelly Roll, Luke Combs, Shazi, Darius Rucker, Thomas Rhett, and Ella Langley. That lineup alone turned heads, but the music sealed the deal. It was fresh, honest, and surprisingly natural. The New York Times praised the album, saying Big X blended urban and country influences in a way that felt raw, heartfelt, and effortless. Big X himself called it My Heart and My Story, and that title hit deep for anyone who followed his journey. Songs like Hear Voices featuring Lil Wayne and Daba proved he could stand next to legends and still switch lanes with ease. He wasn't chasing trends. He was creating them. Even though the album dropped right in the middle of his arrest drama, his team didn't panic. They kept the rollout tight, stayed focused, and let the music speak for itself like real professionals. At that point, Big X had over 14 million monthly Spotify listeners, placing him among the top modern rappers in the game. His blend of country, soul, and southern trap created a rare crossover of hip-hop heads and country fans coming together. And then there's the part of his story that earns him even more respect. His advocacy for autism awareness inspired by his son Amar. His work with the Autism Society of America showed the world that the music didn't erase his heart. It enhanced it. Big X wasn't just a rapper. He was a father, a voice, and a symbol of strength for parents raising kids with special needs. What really blows people's minds is how Big X just kept climbing through setback after setback. Those February and August 2025 arrests could have easily derailed everything, but instead of falling off, he stayed locked in, dropping music, performing shows, and building his brand like nothing could slow him down. His upcoming work even teased collabs with Post Malone and Morgan Wallen, proving I Hope You're Happy wasn't a one-off experiment. It was the start of something way bigger. The transformation from robbing dealers in Dallas to working with country superstars is one of the craziest redemption arcs modern hip-hop has ever seen. Think about it. This is a man who went from solitary confinement writing lyrics in the dark to headlining sold-out shows and charting next to some of the biggest names in music. From missing his son's first birthday behind bars to celebrating his daughter's first birthday right after walking out of jail. That's a true full-circle moment. BigX turned pain into purpose and built his version of the American dream, told through southern trap drums and country guitar strings no one saw coming. But behind the music, the business moves made his rise even more powerful. His United Masters deal wasn't about flexing. It was about ownership. BigX made sure he kept his masters, building long-term wealth instead of chasing fast fame. While other artists sign away their catalogs for quick advances, BigX set up generational security, making sure his family eats off his work forever. That's a real boss move. And that same independence gave him the freedom to jump into country music without label permission. He didn't need approval. He trusted his vision. The numbers backed him up too. Over 14 million monthly listeners, over 200 million streams on Texas, and consistent chart placements proving real stories still sell. BigX didn't buy followers or fake hype. His fan base grew because he stayed real, talked directly to fans on live, showed appreciation, and stayed present. His engagement wasn't about algorithms. It was about authenticity, the one thing you can't fake. And here's the crazy twist. The August 2025 arrest that was supposed to hurt him ended up pushing him even higher. The timing turned into pure publicity, with outlets from TMZ to the New York Times running the story and boosting his visibility worldwide. Instead of letting it break him, BigX flipped it into a marketing moment, showing he knows how to turn chaos into momentum. That's what separates BigX from everybody else. He's not just talented, he's strategic. His country crossover wasn't just a creative move, it was a power play. Collaborating with artists like Luke Combs and Jelly Roll opened doors to new radio stations, new festivals, and new audiences that rarely touch hip-hop. That's next-level brand expansion. He turned his pain into a plan, his struggles into strategy, and his setbacks into spotlight moments. And that's why BigX is on a different level.